Hey everybody, this is Timothy Bennett here.
Aaron Banyan.
Jason Chandler.
Welcome to B&B Banter Bros Goes to the Movie, a podcast show about films where we basically watch films and we talk about them, what we like, what we don't like, and then after the end of the show, we do our own personal rating out of 5 stars. Kind of our way of saying whether or not you should watch it. But tonight we are going to be talking about a new Hulu series that was released this, was it 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago?
Earlier this week. It
Oh,
came
wow.
out earlier this week.
Oh, wow,
Last
really?
Tuesday.
31st. The
Oh, man,
31st.
okay. So the reason why I'm confused is because they already have 3 episodes up.
Yeah.
And that's
kind of
crazy.
how shows do it. When they start off a season, they'll give you a chunk, and then the next following Tuesdays, we're gonna get one at a time.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the new age format.
Well, there it is. So we're going to be talking about the first episode of the new Hulu series starring Steve Martin and
Yep.
Yep.
and Martin
Steve Martin.
Short.
Martin.
Sorry.
Martin Short.
Martin Short.
I still have this, and Selena Gomez, and I still have a hard time just with that Selena Gomez. It's just
Well, yeah, she can go fuck herself, but
right, but she's not bad. Anyway,
she's not awful. But yeah.
we'll talk about it. The show is Only
Yeah, I thought that
Murders
was a
in
bit
the
harsh,
Building.
Aaron, but
The show
Fucking
is
fight
called
me.
It's Only Murders in
not
the
in that
Building.
mask.
Um,
Only murders in the
in
building.
the building,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
And it's a very interesting kind of concept. So it's about these 3 strangers who share an obsession with true crime suddenly find themselves caught up in one. So to give a quick understanding is these 3 characters, so Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez, all listen to the same true crime podcast. And it's like an
Live in the
obsession.
same building.
And they live in the same building on the same floor, I believe, too.
No, different
no?
floors.
No, different floors.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're all on different floors.
Yeah,
Either way.
that's true. But they've all spent at least 20 years in this building. They
Except
all
for
have-
Well,
Selena
Selena
Gomez.
Gomez hasn't, but the other two are almost 30.
She spent time with her aunt, and so
But let's not jump ahead.
Right? Don't
she
jump
lived
ahead.
there, but
Don't
I'm
jump
just
ahead.
Saying she spent time there.
Jason,
Jim.
shut up.
You've already crossed over. You don't learn that until later. So,
Rogue Ninja.
touche. So, right away.
Tim's playing with his equipment now.
Yep.
Ooh,
So-
let it focus. There it is.
So right away, did we like the first episode? Did it pay off for this new series? You have 2 major comedy legends, and then you have a pop star,
You have 2 legends, and you have Selena Gomez
right?
just riding their coattails.
She's a legend to somebody eventually, but
She's too young to
yeah,
be
I
a
was
legend.
gonna like it
Right.
no matter what.
No credibility.
Fair enough. And but yeah, I'm a big fan of Steve Martin Short. So I even if this was a bad show, I was still gonna like their chemistry no matter what because they work together very well. But it turned out to be I enjoyed it way more than I thought I was going to. I don't know. I didn't know what to expect, and it just surprised me, and I really had a good time with it.
I was the same way. Like, I'm a big fan of Martin Short and Steve Martin, and I was excited to see that they were doing something together. And I was very on the fence about Selena Gomez. And honestly speaking, like, as much shit as I may talk about her throughout this whole thing, like, I actually didn't mind her. I thought she did pretty well.
Yeah.
She's not a suit like she's made to be a more compelling character than
Agreed.
Steve Martin or Martin Short, but like, yeah, I don't know. I was pleasantly surprised with her performance. Obviously, like, I like Martin Short and Steve Martin better, but like, I was not unimpressed. I'll put it that way.
She pulls off the what the fuck attitude. Like, I don't know. She says the F word a lot, and the way she delivers it is appropriate. I don't know. Her character, she's doing a very good job at this character.
Yeah, it's like that teenage angst, adolescence, like fuck the world kind of thing. But
she comes off very abrasive.
Yeah, very abrasive.
Okay.
But she does it in a manner that goes. She also has that maturity about her at the same time, and
Yeah.
it's almost like she's playing an act. You know what I mean?
she's got this like the way the way her character is like you're not impressed with her. You kind of think she's an asshole, but like there's just enough there. You go, well, no, I kind of want to know more about her.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'm intrigued.
It's enough mystery. Yep.
Yeah.
Like, who is this chick?
Yeah.
Like,
so
I agree. So like for me, I'm right there with you, Jason. Like, I just recently, maybe like a couple days ago, saw the trailer to this show, and the only bit I saw was Steve Martin walking on the street, like tipping his hat to the lady. She just flicks him off.
Middle finger.
Yeah, and it just goes about his way. I'm like, okay, I'm already intrigued. Yeah, I'm already intrigued. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
But once again, I'm just right there along with you. I'm a huge fan of Steve Martin and Martin Short. And we've had in the beginning of this season, in the Banter Bros Goes to the Movie season, we talked about Martin Short. Like, that's how big of a fan we are. So to see these two work together again after that little, it's great. Like, after that little comedy, like Netflix comedy special that they did, like, yeah, I was super excited to see these two work again. And then, I'm right there with you. I'm like, I saw Selena Gomez and I'm like, what the fuck is she doing with these two comedy legends? She does not deserve that place.
Whoa. She's dialed in, or she's written in the script deliberately to hook in a younger audience. You know
what though?
And they're playing that card, and it's not bad. It's not. I don't know. She's doing it right.
Yeah. After watching the show, after watching the first episode, I agree with
you.
Aaron.
You can't blame them for that angle and shit.
No,
I definitely don't. Yeah, but I get it. But
watching the trailer and then reading about it, my first not really understanding what this show is about, other than that, you know what I mean? It was like, why is she here? Like, what's her purpose?
Exactly.
Especially with these two older men in their like 70s, right? But then you watch the show, and she has a purpose. She has a place. It's really well written. She does a great job. I have nothing against her. I have nothing against her in the show. I
don't think she's the next, whatever big name actress, but like she definitely doesn't do a bad job in this. Like I'm okay with her casting in this.
Yeah, I would like to assume she earned her place, her spot in this fucking show. But I don't.
Yeah, we can only hope.
I don't know about her or her music, but she's not really an actress. She's just more of a singer.
Well, no, she started out as on a Disney show called Wizards of Waverly Place.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, she was a Disney star before she broke into music.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's what a Disney star does.
Well, yeah, that's. I mean, she took the Miley Cyrus route. She just hasn't become a train wreck like Miley Cyrus has.
She took the Miley Cyrus, the Hillary Duff, and the
Shia
LaBeouf, and
following that format.
Yeah, there's a formula to being a Disney star.
Path,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, just look at like Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake. They were both on the Mickey Mouse Club, so I mean, at least they were singing though on the Mickey Mouse Club.
Oh yeah,
but
fair enough.
Yeah. So
all right, but she's established her place, and what's next?
So for the biggest thing I found was like you said it earlier when you said that it was one of those things where you liked it more. You were more shocked on how impressed you were with the show. So why is that? Like, what is it that shocked you, Jason, about this show? Like, what was it that delivered that kind of like, hey, this is so much better than I thought it was going to be? Because the trailers kind of like, they don't really do the justice, to be honest.
No, not at all.
Like,
very true.
It's so much better of a show than the trailers made it out to be, in my personal opinion, at least. And it sounds like you guys agree.
I wouldn't say I was. I don't know. It just like the whole, like nothing about it is like original, but it, and I don't know. I don't really know fucking a right way to answer this. Because there's a lot of things we've seen in this episode and story that they've started to tell us that we've heard before, like the New York dialogue. Steve Martin getting flicked off on the New York street, Martin, the director, the actor aspect, the fucking
Yep.
the kid bullshit, or adapting to a modern age terminology and all this mannerisms. It's just none of it's original, but it's still very fucking
Likeable?
intriguing and likable. It's just well told. The story's well told, and like the whole podcast is like a popular thing right now. So in True,
Yep.
I've heard about True Lies. Is that a real podcast thing that people do, or is this
What?
a
True crime?
Is this a true crime? Is that a fabricated thing, or is this?
Oh no, that's a big thing.
Is it a big thing? Okay.
Oh, there's tons of podcasts about true crime.
Okay, so and then
Like literally
seeing
shit tons.
just the way they cut to like everybody in their separate apartments listening to the same episode and being on, they don't know each other, and how they got to know each other, and how they gave the backstory to us between the three of them, and then Tina Fey being in the fucking thing.
Tina Fey was a nice little.
That was a
drop,
nice
yeah.
touch. Yep, that was a nice touch. I saw that and I'm like,
Oh, it
Tina
was just
Fey,
very-
that's awesome. And
yeah,
it's just a little
yeah,
blip too.
and they just, it's very, the story's not original, and not to be rude about that, by that, me saying that, but it's very comfortable and it's well told.
So
And
so
then,
basically,
yeah,
to-
it flows
to-
very well.
To summarize what you're saying is you really enjoy the
Thank
way that
you.
the writing is.
Yeah. It sounds like it.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's
'Cause-
just the flow of it. It's
Yep.
just, yeah, it's nothing really too impressive or anything, but it's nothing whack as fuck either.
yeah.
I'm gonna agree with Jason. Like I think it's the writing that really does the show the most justice. Because I mean, it doesn't push Steve Martin or Martin Short into any role that isn't natural to them. Like it's all very natural. The way it, like their comedy styles and everything is all, it all flows. Like you know,
Absolutely.
between the interaction between Steve Martin and the two people on the street. They're
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, you're Brazos, and like, oh yeah, my dad used to watch you. He has ALS now, and like Steve Martin's just kind of taking it and just kind of like not knowing how to react. Like that's all very much a Steve Martin sort of like bit.
Yep.
And the same thing with Martin Short, like walking through traffic and then almost getting run over by the fucking car, and he's like, "Do you see this coat?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's very much Martin Short. Like
Yeah.
so, like it's all written and like it lets them be themselves.
And
And
it's nothing over the
but-
top. It's just very well
No,
placed and
yeah,
appropriate.
it's
for
all just them.
for their
and-
over the
and- but-
top type of comedy. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, and but like it also gives, you know, the writing is such that they've given those scenes where like all of a sudden you have something dramatic too, because I mean you see the interaction between Martin Short and his son, you know, when he's trying to borrow money,
Yeah.
and that's a dramatic bit
Yeah.
for him. And then like the bit at the end with Steve Martin, he's like, his neighbor's like, oh yeah, I smell the omelets you make. And he's like, oh, I'll try to
Yeah.
find it. He's like, no, it reminds me of Lucy. And like, how is she doing? Or do you talk
Yeah.
to her anymore? And he's like, oh no. Or like he's just like, oh,
He
no, not
mumbles.
really.
He
Yeah,
does
he
it-
kind of just mumbles some
Just
fucking response.
mumbles. Yep.
And like
Yeah.
that bit between him and Selena Gomez when he's trying to unlock the door, like that
Yeah.
whole bit, like there's dramatic beats that are written so naturally into the story.
And,
And I
the
think
way
it's
they
just nicely done.
the way they add the conflict into the story is very subtle and smooth. It's really
Yeah.
nothing too. It's just very everything you just said, Aaron. I completely agree. The way they added the conflict, I'm really liking it.
Yeah.
It's got
yeah.
a blend of comedy, story, drama. Fucking.
It's
It's just
Quick question.
really good.
Did Steve, I forgot, did Steve Martin write this?
yeah. Him and this
Yeah,
other
okay.
guy
Him-
wrote it. Yep.
him and
Okay,
this
so
other
that
guy,
explains
yes.
part of it. 'Cause
John-
Steve Martin can write some shit. Like
Yeah,
he's really good.
Yeah.
The other guy was like a John Holland or Hal. I don't know. He hasn't really. He's done a couple things, but nothing that
Yeah.
is like major.
Yeah.
But yeah. Steve Martin was like the primary writer and creator of the show.
Yeah, and that
So-
doesn't surprise me because I mean, especially as Steve Martin got older, like he started to like really explore like pushing the boundaries of like what his comedy was
Yeah.
and like being able to incorporate dramatic bits into it and like all that stuff. So it's not surprising now remembering that Steve Martin helped write
Yeah.
this.
But I agree with you, Aaron, on the fact that like it took me a couple. It took me until about the second episode, I think, towards the end, that I started realizing that this is just Steve Martin. It's just Steve Martin and Martin Short playing
Yeah.
themselves, like
Yeah,
at
they're
the
not
best.
doing anything that crazy,
No.
like other than
No.
like what they usually do.
Yeah, it is so appropriate and it's because it was written for them.
And they've lived
by them.
such a
Yeah, and
they've
by
lived
them,
such a long life and established so much and done so much. So they're just taking good pieces of what they've been through and putting it into the show. And yeah, I mean Steve Steve Martin being the actor and then Martin Short being the director. Fabulous decision. Fucking
Well, me and Aram said it in our podcast. We talked about Martin Short. Is he's a very whimsical guy, and it fits so appropriately.
Well, he's also a theater guy too.
He's a theater guy, yeah.
Yes.
But it fits so appropriately for this character, for being the director that he, you know, like in his whole theater thing and all that. And yeah, I must say, like, there's nothing about this that seems unnatural, like you just said, Aram.
Well,
and I agree with you.
Like that dialogue at the end when they're recording the intro to their podcast.
Yeah.
And Steve Martin gives his name, he's like, I'm your host, blah blah blah. And like
Charlie
Martin Short's like, he's like, oh, that's
for
good
now.
for now.
For now.
And it's just very much a Martin Short thing to say. Like
it's
and
so
and I really like the connection between all three characters where they have this common passion. And they necessarily don't really like each other or care to get to know each other. Steve Martin and Martin Short, whatever their names are, they know about each other after talking to each other and getting to know each other or whatever. But I'm just loving the reason for the connection is because of this passion over this
one common bond. The one common bond that they all three have. Otherwise, they wouldn't have said fuck all to each other.
And there's this ongoing element of their dynamic and wouldn't say friendship, but their connection to where like they're not even having a good time. Like being in each other's fucking company. But the bigger picture is keeping them driven to continue to want to talk to each other.
It's the not knowing what's next that they have to figure shit out. Yeah. That's what's driving them forward. Like I said, it's
the
that common
that
bond
they all share.
Well,
so I'm really loving that. Sorry.
And you don't really understand that how important it is for Martin Short's character until he's at his son's house and he's leaving and he does that whole falling off the deck and then bouncing back up thing.
And that's a callback to like his intro to the show, like when he's talking about seeing that dance the dance thing where like the dancer was like falling off a thing of stairs and just finding different ways to climb it.
Yeah, it was like, always trying to, that the whole play or that show that the guy was walking up the stairs but could never reach the top because he had fallen down
stairs and
having to get back up.
The dance thing is known as foreshadowing.
Yeah, yes, it is. Look at you being all film
shit sometimes.
But yes, it's foreshadow. I agree with you, Jason, about that. The fact that like they lived in the same building, right, for 20, 30 years or whatever. And
they have the story in the same,
Yep. But they didn't care to get to know each other. Like Steve Martin didn't care to get to know each other.
Especially Steve Martin.
Yeah. Martin Short seems like he just wants to talk. But
he just wants somebody to see him. Like that, and that's very much a Martin Short.
It's the attention. It's the attention. Yeah. He wants that attention. And which is odd given that usually it's the actor who wants the attention, but the actor seemed more like stay fuck away, but the director is the one because of his situation. He feels like he's falling out of place. He's not relevant anymore. He's not making money. He's not getting any work. So, but you don't figure that shit out until later.
No.
And that chemistry, that off-put chemistry right away it was a great setup for the show, especially in the elevator where they're trapped. I really, really enjoyed nothing original, like you said, Jason, nothing original, but it was just so appropriate and so well done. And
it's not original, but when it's done by people that are masters of their craft, it becomes something special regardless.
It does. Yep.
And that's why I no negative connotations or whatever when I say it's not original. I'm just saying, there's been a million things made. I'm fucking old as fuck. I've seen a million things. So we've all seen shit. So yes, to piggyback to your point, Aram, masters are doing what needs to be done.
Yeah.
In this story, and the flow, it's very comfortable.
Yes, it is.
Very fucking
The way the beats fall are just like fantastic, very appropriate.
It's just very
Now,
professional. Yeah.
Now, the way that they introduced Selena Gomez, did you like the way they did that? Because you immediately get the older guys, and obviously we're fans of these two older guys, so it's not like that's gonna we don't care. We just want to see these guys. They don't care if they're falling out of space. We just want to see these guys. But how did you feel about Selena Gomez's character coming in the way she did? Like the introduction of this episode, how did you feel? Like, did you like it? Did you think it was something like?
Aaron, you go.
So I was okay with the way she was introduced. I mean, obviously they were all introduced walking to the building.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a cool way to do it because it sets up them getting stuck in the elevator together.
Yep.
But I mean, her character is introduced in such a way that, like, I feel like you're supposed to not like her as much. And I think she's supposed to be one of those characters you get to like as you go forward.
The more you learn about her and stuff.
Yeah, the more you learn about her, the more she interacts with Martin Short and Steve Martin, you start to like her more.
Yeah.
Especially like, especially once she was like, her and Steve Martin are trying to break into that guy's house and like they're just hanging out and Steve Martin basically gives his rundown of like why he lives alone.
Yep.
Like, I think that's the kind of stuff you're supposed to learn to like her better. And also she's supposed to be that mystery figure because like obviously she knows that one guy. She's got these illusions to all this other stuff. And so like she's the mystery character. Yeah. Like she's the wild card. So I think you're supposed to feel off kilter about her for most of it.
As you explain it, Aaron, I think it's deliberate. Like
for sure.
Her attached to two old legends. They did that on purpose. I think to make her. Yeah, I think that was very smart.
You need
to mention it.
You need the juxtaposition of her.
A lot of,
you need the juxtaposition of her versus them, because she's not forthcoming with a lot of information, and she's, they're obviously eventually they're going to want to find out more about her, especially the longer they hang out.
And a lot of people like us, we're going to tune into the show because of those two guys. Yeah. So to make her mysterious and compelling and important in the way they are doing it,
it keeps us older guys realizing interested.
It's very smart, professional, and deliberate. But my perspective on her introduction, I thought was hilarious. You got them in the elevator, her listening to her headphones, Martin Short saying, "Are you enjoying your beats?" or whatever the fuck he just said.
Forgot about that.
Like it. Yep. It was.
I had a yellow pair, but I left them in the subway.
Silly me.
So you had that dabble of introduction, and then you get the fucking window scene of. Then you're like, oh shit, they're all listening to the same episode, and then the fire alarm goes off. And then they all go to the same restaurant. Yep. And then she makes her way to and overhears she notices the table and she asks that question, like, what's in the dog's mouth or whatever it was.
Well, she doesn't notice. She gets waved over because Martin Short is trying to get a drink.
Well,
and then he sees her and she's like, there's no other tables. And then he just waves over.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's how Martin Short and him starts it.
Yeah, I will say I love when Martin Short goes into it's like he goes to that table with Steve Martin's got the map out. He's like looking at the map, and he just like right away is like, "I'm sorry if I've offended you. If you've ever auditioned for me," he's like, "I've never auditioned for you." It's like, "You're not Scott Bakula?"
That's right.
And he's like, no. It's like,
you're the other one. You're the other one.
I thought that was great, but then he sees the map, and they just connect. The meet cute.
In the dog's mouth.
Yeah, it was that meet cute. I love that meet cute. It was just so like, I don't know, obvious, but yet appropriate and just so plain at the same time. It wasn't overdone. It wasn't whatever. It was just very simple.
What needed to be done. It's what needed to be
super
done.
Simple.
It was done professionally.
It was just perfect.
That's an extension of what I felt about like them all meeting up in that place is part of why I liked Selena's introduction.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a side note, and it was something I literally just thought about. Is when you get glimpses into their apartments, you get an understanding of their standing as characters.
Yep.
Steve Martin is When he's putting the vegetables away, he's got all of them lined up. He's the very rigid straight man character.
Yep.
And then you've got Martin Short, who's just the flourishy sort of like, flamboyant character. And then you have Selena Gomez, who's whimsical, yes. And then Selena Gomez's apartment is basically trashed because she's remodeling, and like it's just her bed. So she's very much the like I said, the wild card, or like, the one that's not fully put together.
Yeah.
Or fleshed out, I should say. I don't know if it was done on purpose per se, but like it's a very interesting way to see the characters.
No, I would assume so.
Your analysis of the situation is dead on, because that's exactly how I felt when I was watching this. I noticed the same thing when he was putting his vegetables away. I'm like, okay, if you look at Steve Martin's apartment, you get the understanding that everything has a place, everything is very neat and shit, it's not necessarily like he's OCD or anything, because
he just likes his order.
Yeah, he has a rhythm. And it's a daily rhythm and a routine, and that's just how it is, with the whole eggs thing and all that stuff.
Yep.
And then you look at Martin Short's apartment, and it's whimsical. You can just see that there's all these things everywhere. It's not that it's a mess; it's far from a mess.
No,
but they're things that tell you who he is and his character, and it's like his, I don't know, that is who he is. They show
you a little bit more of the apartment environment.
Yep. And
their home life.
It's got more character
as the scenes go on. So I didn't even pick that up.
But Selena Gomez, she's the one that, exactly like you said, she is the new. She's the newbie. She's new. She has.
Goddamn, that makes me like it more.
She's the one that has the mystery, and given that we don't know anything about her apartment has nothing to say.
She has literally just a skeleton. It's a framework. It's just the skeleton of the apartment.
Because we haven't built on that yet. But you can definitely tell right away that, because they had a conversation about the apartment, is you're going to know that throughout the series, she's going to build up that apartment a little bit more.
I was just thinking that myself.
Yep.
Like that was, as the more you learn about her, the more like it's going to improve and like be done up. Yeah.
Yep. So there's a lot of revealing that's going to happen and everything. But and the way they ended this episode was just such a great hook. I was definitely like, oh yeah, I need to know more. So
for sure.
Didn't see it coming, and then it took me a second and be like, is that what I'm? No, go ahead.
I was just saying, like the beginning of the episode had me kind of hooked. Like, from like the beginning when they're running down the stairs, and all of a sudden you run into Selena Gomez, who's rolling a body in a carpet, and she's got blood on her shirt. She's like, it's not what it looks like. And then you cut to 2 months earlier, and you're like, what?
Yeah. I can agree with that as well. Like that was quickly like, oh, okay, what's going on?
Yeah,
but
quite the attention.
But that was kind of like, I don't know, predictable as well. Like
it was,
as soon as it was happening.
Hooked,
as soon as it was happening, I'm like, oh, I know what they're doing here. And then they went to the 2 months earlier, and it's like, that's what I really like though.
Maybe that's the better way to say it. Is I know what you're doing here, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Instead of being like, this isn't original, but I think that's the better way to say it. Is like, I know what you're up to, but I'm having a great time.
Yeah.
And you're doing it right. Same with Sweet Tooth. There was a lot of those moments, and and I love that show.
That's something I was realizing too. Is there's very cheesy and cliche moments in this show, but they're just so appropriate, and they need to be there to make it what it is.
Well, the thing about people say cliche like it's a bad thing sometimes. It's like, but that's why they're cliches, because they fucking work.
Because they work.
When you have someone that's a master.
Sometimes they're a fucking pillar to hold up the foundation and the stability of the story.
Yep.
And when you have someone like Steve Martin and Martin Short and whoever else helped write or make this thing, when they're masters of their craft is the way they are, cliches still fucking work and be very good.
Yeah. Yep. There's nothing wrong with cliche. Yep. I think that the issue is
cliche is always said as a bad thing. And I fucking hate it sometimes.
Yeah.
I understand your anger there.
I just think that sometimes that it comes down to, you don't have to try so hard to be original, but not just taking the, like a lot of rom-coms, you know what you're going to get. So the cliche is the whole point of the rom-coms. And then you get something like action where you know what you're going to get. Yeah. But people try to be so original and so different with the action that sometimes you need just that typical cliche to make it work. Otherwise, it falls apart.
There's legit. What was that, Jason?
No, you.
I personally like. I'm of the mind. There's nothing wrong with using the base formula. It's just not just. You can't just use the formula and nothing else. You have to know when to go outside of it. But the formula is there because it works and it helps.
You still need to tell your story.
You need to know when to use
your
it
way
to bring the audience in, to make that connection and get everybody on the same page, and then branch off and make something fucking up.
Exactly.
Twist and turn or some kind of surprise fucking what the fuck moment. So yeah, they're doing it right. And Tim, I had a question for you. Are you liking the title? Oh fuck. Are you liking the title of this episode? Are you liking the titles? We're not going to talk about the other 2 episodes, but they're podcast titles. So I was curious if you.
I was going to say, to be honest, I did not notice the titles.
Neither did I. I was going to say, like, what the fuck is up with the titles?
Yeah, I did not notice the titles.
I only brought it up with such enthusiasm because Tim likes titles. So I thought maybe
I do. I think the titles have a lot to say.
My approach here fell flat. I'll admit it.
Well, so the first episode is called True Crime, and
that's a pilot. But
that was the name
that we're not going to talk about. They have titles, so maybe this is a terrible question.
The first episode, True Crime. Well, True Crime was the whole point of the podcast, and that's what brought them together. So it was very appropriate because the whole point of them for the first episode is how are we going to take these different characters that don't know each other, that basically have live opposite universes, and yet how are we going to bring them together? Well, they did that with the building for sure. That's to get them in the same perimeter, but how are we going to get them to connect? And that was that podcast, the True Crime podcast. So it was very appropriate. I don't think it was very original, but it was very appropriate. Said exactly.
Sure. We'll save this question in the further episodes as we talk.
That probably would have been better, was to a couple episodes in to fucking address that, because then we could have talked about it ahead of time.
Right. All right. Sorry to interrupt your question, Tim. What were you going to ask me before I?
So we were talking about like that cliche kind of thing. Was there a moment, or was there a particular, I guess, scene that was, super cliche or whatever, but you thoroughly enjoyed? Because there's definitely one for me that I enjoyed. But did you guys have one that you knew was coming, but you saw it or whatever, or it wasn't really original, but you knew that was so appropriate, it was so perfect?
Does it have to be a cliche, or can it just be a scene that
just do a scene? Just do a scene. That's fine. I just had one moment that was very cliche that I was like, I guess
it's a connection of scenes, but when he's making the omelet and he throws it away, and you see that happen several times, and then the neighbor tells him, and then you're like, oh fuck, I know what he's doing. You know, that shit. It's like a deep, darker type of attachment for me, but I really thought that was well done, and that shit stuck with me.
That scene was really good. I agree. I don't know that it was the cliche moment for me. Actually, I will say
it's not a cliche. This I was trying to branch off of that cliche thing. I would not consider that a cliche thing.
I will say
artsy, deep, and beautiful.
Building off of what Jason said, though, is when you see Steve Martin making the omelet and just throwing it away, and then the one time he makes a fried egg. Yeah. And that was like the change in his outlook. All of a sudden things were better and he was happier. That's the cliche moment. All of a sudden he changed his routine. Yep. And so he made the fried egg instead of an omelet. He just keeps throwing it away, and he actually plates the egg like he's going to eat it. Like that to me was kind of a cliche thing. Like it was a cliche thing to show that his outlook has changed. A fresh start type of thing. It's starting off small, but that's very important and deep and beautiful. I don't give a fuck. I think it's awesome.
Look at Aaron being all analytical.
Yeah,
look at him. He's analyzing
for like a year and a half. I might as well get it right sometime.
You need to wear that helmet more often.
Right?
It's brought out my mind. It's because you can't see my face.
The dark force is got
when you feel hidden.
Right.
Are you piggybacking on my answer, or did you answer the cliche thing, Aaron? Or is it?
Well, and that was my I was kind of piggybacking off yours, and because of the eggs. But I think that when the hymns, when he's showing that his outlook changed. I mean, that whole scene, when they're everything's bouncing, is the cliche moment, I guess. Like it's a callback moment to something Martin Short said earlier, but I definitely like when Steve Martin makes a fried egg instead of the omelet he's always making. That to me is like the cliche, like, oh, the rigid character all of a sudden has like a different outlook,
deeper,
or is happier.
a new take.
It's the same shit that happens like in Grumpy Old Men when all of a sudden Jack Lemmon is just like making fucking eggs with like hot sauce and shit that one day after he bones the one lady. It's kind of that same shit.
Let's be real though. Let's be real. We all understand that after it's been like
lady energy.
As soon as you get laid, you understand. Hey, I'm a happy guy. People can tolerate me now.
And this is only gonna last 3 months, so I might as well fucking
shit. Mine only lasts
have
like
fun
a day.
while it lasts. What?
Mine only usually lasts a day.
Tim just revealed something about himself. That's all.
I usually feel good that one day, and then the next day I'm back to being the bitter old man I am.
So what? What? To answer your own question, Tim.
So,
answer your own question.
You said you had one.
Yeah. So mine was. I really enjoyed, and it was very cliche because you knew it was going to come, was when he's trying to pick the lock and he's telling his sad story and Selena Gomez, ask or whatever. And he just like stands up and actually continues to talk. And she's like, should we go in? He's like, it's been open this entire time. Or like 20 minutes, whatever.
Yeah.
I thought it was hysterical too, though. Like it was really funny to me.
I really enjoyed that story.
And a little
that he said. And I think the reason why I enjoyed that story so much is because that story was probably the most original thing that I've heard in a long time. I haven't heard something that was so like seemed so real in a film when somebody's telling their sad story. And this felt literally like this was something
that's kind of
real. Like my neighbor or my uncle could have been living.
To go off of that, like it's not everything. Like when you have dramatic beats like that, everyone goes, "Oh, well, he was abusive and so much like he beat us," or he was an alcoholic. This one, he was like he was a guy.
Take it to the moon.
They take it way too far. But he was just like he talked down to my mom and we were so alike. I just decided that like if I was gonna be like that, in every other way, like I had to be like that with other people. So like alone just seemed better.
Yep.
And it's a very down to earth view of it.
Yeah. And I loved that so much. But that whole situation was very cliche because you knew it was coming,
Oh yeah. But the big reveal, why he was alone.
But what he was saying.
It was nice to see that was the first connection between him and Selena.
Yeah.
Like that was the first time she looked at him more seriously or more personally instead of the big picture crime connection that they're why
had a connection. They just had a moment.
That was nice to see.
Yeah.
Especially from her. She was like, looked at him for the first time in a different light. And
And as soon as they get into that apartment too, I enjoyed the rest of that scene where he's just like, you take the left, I'll take the right. It's like the packages, I don't know. I just like that. He's like,
he's just trying to be all.
Look under your head.
Try to be all.
He's just
trying to do it all fucking professional.
I thought that was good.
Because he had like in his mind, he's like, he knew the layout of the fucking apartment because it was a certain type of apartment. He's like, you take that bedroom and the kitchen and the dining room.
And of course, that would come from Steve Martin, the most organized character.
He's the straight guy,
He's the guy that cares about organization and fucking, blah, blah, blah.
Well, and then he also reveals later on, he's like, I have blueprints and plans for the whole building. And why the fuck would you have those?
Yep. I thought that was interesting,
even him, why?
too. I was like, why would you have those?
Oh, shit. I did not think there'd be this much to talk about in the first episode, but that proves somewhat how good this show is, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think I'll watch the next 2 episodes now.
Yeah. Who is it that you lean towards the most? Like who do you enjoy so far the most off the first episode for those 3 main characters?
I gotta say, I'm enjoying Steve Martin more. Like Martin Short's doing a great job, but I just for some reason I'm more drawn to Steve Martin's character. Like, and I'm waiting to see the bits that he does. Like, because he's always got Steve Martin's always been one of those guys. Like, it's about the timing of the bit. It's not like the delivery so much, because like he always delivers it kind of the same way.
Yeah, he has a very like kind of almost monotone. No, I don't want to say monotone, just a straight cut and dry. He's not. He has
Yeah. So I'm very intrigued as the way he's going to be portrayed going forward in the show.
No.
his transition.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Steve Martin, and it's probably just because as a fan, I relate to that character. I don't know. Like, Steve, Martin Short's fucking hilarious and doing what is necessary for the character, but he's just too over the top for me, and nothing negative, but it's just like, yeah, I relate more to Steve Martin.
He's a little too whimsical.
We said that in that episode. Like, he's too whimsical for everybody. Like, he's like, he's in tons of shit, but like nobody seems to like him.
Yeah, he literally needs to be.
He does it right.
He's the definition of whimsical. Like, in a picture, put the picture in the dictionary next to whimsical. That's whimsical. Just watch everything he's done. Like, he's a very whimsical guy, and he's like that naturally. Like, we talked about that in that podcast. He's just
and he does it amazingly. It's very entertaining. It's not annoying. It's very, I don't know. Right.
It's just who he is. Yeah, it's very genuine and very who he is. Yeah.
If we're nitpicking here, Steve Martin's my guy.
Yeah.
For those reasons. Tim, answer your own question.
I really have to say that it's Martin Short for me. I don't disagree with what you guys are saying at all about Steve Martin, and that's the appeal.
I would love to
Steve
see
Martin
Tim wear a
has.
purple fucking trench coat.
If I had one, I would wear it. Oh wait, you know what? I might have my my mom might have my graduation gown, and it's purple.
Oh, fan fucking
so that'll work.
Get you a scarf to go with it.
Yeah, my
son of a bitch.
I might be able to get that. So
get you the gown. We'll get you a fucking scarf.
I have scarves.
Get you a turtleneck.
If these YouTube videos are we're gonna keep wearing fucking costumes, might as well break out the purple. Tim.
Right.
Jason, you and I got to figure out which one of us is gonna dress up with Selena Gomez.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like Aram, your skin tone is a little more better for yellow than.
I fucking knew you were gonna say that.
Because Selena Gomez is she does have a color to her that's not. I
just
white.
don't think you're gonna want me in those red tights.
I probably would want, but you know what? Nobody's gonna see it.
For the sake of art, I guess. Whatever.
Yeah, but Martin Short for me.
Yay! I get to be Steve Martin. Woohoo!
Yeah, you get to be the 7-year-old guy that everyone forgot.
Yep.
Aw. Well, I got more gray than any of you, so it's also.
Oh, that is true.
Yeah, it's very true.
It's just not up on top. It's on the.
It's getting there.
It's in the thigh ticklers he's got in his face.
I expect to see a white wig. But the reason why I'm
gonna represent Steve. I'm gonna do it right.
The reason why I like Martin Short in this show is obviously you know what you're getting from Martin Short, but there's something refreshing compared to the other two characters. They have all the mystery. Like, you don't know, like, they're hiding something, right? Steve Martin's hiding something about his wife or whatever, that Lucy chick.
Yeah,
there's something missing. You know, he's hiding something. Selena Gomez has
Martin
a lot
of
finances, but he's not hiding.
With this other shit.
Like, Selena's
very
hiding.
laid bare.
But Martin Short is the only one that's coming completely forefront on everything.
He is the first. Yes.
And what I like about that is the way that he takes these things. Like, I can only imagine the balls and the courage it would take to go to my son again and ask for financial help again. Yeah. I would feel, and you saw it. You saw it in his face. You saw the moment he was so awkward.
He let him down before.
Yeah, you knew that this was painful for him to do, but he was desperate.
And same for the son to say no.
Yeah, I was like, that was
not. He was not happy that he was like, I'm sorry, but I can't do this again.
I actually thought that was great. I love that he said no. Yes, that's what I like about this show. This show is so down to earth. It's so believable.
Yeah.
That exchange between when Martin Short and his son, and like when he's like, "You gotta sell the apartment," he's like, "It's all I have. It's all I am." And like the son's just like, "Well, I'm sorry to hear you say that."
Yeah, that hurts a little bit.
Yeah,
and then
it's like
Martin Short didn't even realize what he was saying and how it affected his son. You know, and that's just that describing his character, his personality,
he's so wrapped up in his own image.
Exactly.
Yep. Because
and then when his son said that, and Martin Short's facial response or body language response, he was like, "Fuck."
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I did it again. Like, yeah, dude.
That's what.
Great exchange, yes.
That is why I liked Steve Martin's character. Was out of both of the other two characters, out of all three of them, he's the one that's suffering the most.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
that we know of so far, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
because
Yeah, no,
as we
you're
know,
right. His shit, yeah.
but
His shit's just laid bare like right away.
yeah, and it was just
And
something
it's
about
ongoing.
that.
It's a current struggle he's dealing with day to day.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to get out
And
of this hole.
They even
That's-
call back to it at the end when he's going on the computer, and you just see all the fucking bills they like overdue, past due,
Yep.
final notice,
Yep.
shit like that. Like, so they call back to it at least
And
once.
those, it was just a glimpse of those numbers, but they looked pretty large.
Yeah, one of them was
Like that.
$18,000. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it was
That's 20 grand. So
it
he
was
has
like,
at
holy
least
shit.
he has at
And he's
least
still
50
got that-
grand of
He's still
debt.
like 1950s or 1920s. Like, hey, I'm just gonna portray like I'm doing well, motherfuckers.
Right. Yeah,
But
he,
really, he's not.
he has like $50,000 worth of debt
At
on that
least.
screen. Because
Yeah.
one of them was $8,000, one of them was
Yeah.
$18,000, one of them was $5 grand. Right there is just way too much.
Yeah.
That's over 30 grand right there in those
Right?
three figures. So,
And that was only like 3 of those screens, and I think he
That's
had
what I
like
mean, yeah.
5 of them up. So, damn.
yeah, for
But
sure.
I can only imagine what those apartments would cost. Like they mentioned it in the beginning. It's like, we've been here for 30 years when it was, reasonably priced to own these apartments. But how's a young girl like you, get an
Right.
apartment like this?
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
So they must be like 10 grand a month.
See,
Oh,
that's
for
what
sure.
I was gonna ask. That do you think they're renting or are they purchased or like,
Well,
do they own these apartments?
I think they're
They're-
purchased because the
his-
son says you have to sell the apartment.
Sell.
I think it's a
Exactly.
Really,
condo
that's why-
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like a condo
Yeah.
situation where, basically you can do whatever you want with your condo. You basically purchase it, and then it's like, like owning a
And you
townhome or
pay-
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
Pay
just
condo fees or whatever.
yeah, but it's just
Yeah.
it's an
Yeah.
apartment.
Yeah,
You pay
it's
building
fees.
fees,
Yeah,
So-
building fees. That's what it
Yep.
is.
There it
Condo
is.
fees, whatever the fuck it is.
condo fees.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Now you got. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I will say though, the biggest thing that impresses me the most about this show, and we mentioned this a couple times now, but it's so believable. It's so down to earth. There's nothing over exaggerated.
Yeah.
Not even the characters are exaggerated.
And the characters are flamboyant. Like Martin Short's flamboyant, but like he's not over the top.
Not at all.
The most
Not at all.
exaggerated, over the top thing was that bouncy visual metaphor, whatever you call it, falling off the stairs.
Oh,
They
yeah,
do
yeah,
it
yeah.
Again with the pancake, and they do
Yeah.
it with other
The
things
ring.
like
They did it with the ring,
yeah.
ring.
Each of them
The
had their
ring.
moment where like
And
something
it was-
bounces up.
And it was so obvious over the top, and they
Yeah.
knew what they were doing. They did it for a message and a purpose. So
It was a visual, yeah,
That
it was a
was
visual
it.
message. It wasn't even over the top. Like that wasn't to do
Exa-
with like the whole
as
like the
far-
everyday interactions and whatnot.
So yeah, as far as exaggeration goes, fuck, that was as far as it went. With the exaggeration was that small little fucking
And that was just like a visual metaphor. Is all it was.
yes, yep. Yeah. So I would have to agree with Tim. This is why I brought up that.
Yeah, most stuff.
So to bring one last question. So the ending of this episode, like I already said earlier, it got me hooked. Like I was like, I
Ooh.
want to see it. But what shocked you the most about the ending of this episode?
So
Or
I'm gonna be-
let me say, who shocked you the most? Maybe who were you more surprised of towards the end of this? Because obviously they did the same thing they did in the introduction, where they individually show each
Yeah.
character and
Ah.
whatever. So maybe who
Yeah,
is
right.
it that you were a little more impressed or shocked with?
So I'm gonna be very honest and say that when you see the Hardy Boys on her computer screen at the end, I didn't understand or like remember that was the victim
Yeah.
until you
It's
guys
a-
started saying it. And I was like, oh shit, okay, yeah, that's why he looks familiar.
Yep.
So like I wasn't at the
Selena
time
Gomez's
as-
area.
Yeah, I wasn't at the time as shocked at her character.
I
Now
had-
I'm a little more intrigued by that, but I wasn't at the time.
And same. I had to watch the second episode to realize, oh shit, that's that guy. Because
Right
I knew it meant something at the time, but there was such a distance between that picture, the Hardy Boy character, and all that shit,
Yeah.
and to really make that connection, which was very smart and well written. But so yeah, it took me watching the second episode to make that connection. So
and Steve Martin's ending scene didn't stick with me for some reason. Like I remember Martin Short and I remember Selena Gomez's, but for some reason Steve Martin's didn't stick with me. So I'm assuming Martin Short's what?
His was the whole Lucy thing.
Bad. It was? Okay, I thought that's what it was, but at the same time I was like, oh, I thought there was something more. So if I had to say, like, I think Steve Martin's is like definitely has me wondering because I want more understanding of that Lucy character and who she was. But Martin Short's was also very intriguing because like I want to know when the financial struggles become an issue in the show.
Yeah.
Because at some point they're going to become a point of conflict somehow.
Yeah.
So and that's one of those cliche things. Like they made a note of it in the first episode, so you know the financial issues are going to become an issue at some point.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm kind of torn between Steve Martin and Martin Short's. Like I really didn't have much invested in Selena Gomez's thing. Like I said, I didn't recognize that guy was the victim, so it was lost on me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, in the moment, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Steve Martin, I would have to assume Lucy is just a passed away wife. Is that too?
I mean, it's reasonable. Well, I mean, the guy asked, "Do you talk to her anymore?"
What?
The guy neighbor asked, like, "Do you talk to her still, or do you hear from her?" So, like, I don't think she's passed away, but like, he also gave that spiel about always being alone because of his father.
Maybe, that's right.
So
maybe it is just a divorce he did wrong or fucked up on a relationship.
There's that mystery.
That's intriguing.
There's a mystery there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's like a wife thing. Yeah.
So I was saying,
it did to me too.
There's such a mystery between Selena Gomez and Steve Martin's character, but like at least Martin Short, you get just blatant.
Martin Short, he's the first character to give you really, that more backstory.
I guess to simplify,
they're gonna do it one at a time. And
yep.
Selena's gonna be the last, I would assume.
To simplify it, I guess, is I just sympathize. You know, I can find that connection with Martin Short's character a little bit more than I could the other two. I think that's really what it was. Is like I feel for Martin Short. I don't feel for the other two because there's no reason to. But you get a reason to. Yeah, at least not yet.
Yeah,
but
the time hasn't come yet.
Yeah, not yet anyway. This is the first episode. We got 10 more episodes to go. So,
is it just a 10 episode run?
Yeah, at least that's what IMDb said was 10 episode.
Okay.
I haven't looked at. Oh, you looked at. Okay, cool. Yeah, nice. I was hoping we get 10 and not 8 or 6 or something small. But
for sure.
Yeah,
shocking. My answer would have to be like with Selena's photo on her computer is like, oh shit, she knows what's up. She knows more than she's letting on.
Yep.
And that was the only shocker at the end of the episode to answer your question, Tim.
I have to agree with you, Jason. It was the Selena Gomez. One thing about the shower scene was like, it's shower scene or whatever, but I was the tattoo, and you see the tattoo or whatever, and it was just kind of like as she turned around on the shoulder, and then it just kind of
a couple of them, like she had like one or two. I feel like
she definitely did, yeah. Like, but I mean, I've seen the other episodes, and that comes into play. Now, I'm not gonna get into that, but the whole point was, I was as soon as I saw that computer screen, I was like, oh, that's him. Obviously, why linger on that one guy?
Yeah.
When you have the overall picture. And so I was more curious of like, well, what the fuck is she's shady. She's a fucking shady chick now. Like she knows more than what she's led on to. What's going on? And so I was definitely more like, I want to know more about what the fuck Selena Gomez's character is doing. Like, what is she here for? There's something more. And I started racking up, like instantly, just started racking up all this conspiracy against her. I was just like, she's the fucking devil.
Make sense of it.
She's trying to burn this place down. Like, I was just going off the rails. I'm like, this is probably not even
from the bottom.
Yeah, I was like, this isn't even her apartment. She just broke in. She's actually squatting here. Like,
and they were like, this bitch.
Right. I don't know. But I will say, I also really enjoyed her entrance in the beginning of the episode. So the fact that like you had this.
Yeah, we forgot to ask you your opinion on that.
Yeah, like her entrance was really good. I really like the entrance. As much as I like Steve Martin and Martin Short's definitely is like, have you seen this coat? I liked her attitude in the entrance, and then towards the end, I'm like, "Fuck this bitch." I was like, I don't want no, she's evil. Like, there's something bad about her. So, like, I really had it in for her towards the end, which made me really want to go, who the fuck is this chick? What's this about? So, that was...
I think they're going to play with that in the writing very well. How they're going to make us hate her, but be care about her at the same time. It's going to be a whirlwind of character development. I'm looking forward to it.
Well,
most definitely, yeah.
We'll find out on the next episode. So
yes, we will. Looking forward to it.
So well, that is all the time we have for tonight. So this was Only Murders in the Building. It was on Hulu. I think it's a Hulu original, right?
Yeah, it's written just for Hulu.
Yeah, perfect. So Hulu original, and I definitely give it a shot. If you're disappointed, if you're disappointed with the first episode, then don't listen to our podcast anymore. Just kidding.
It's not like you wasted any money. I mean, it's on Hulu. If you already watched it on Hulu, like, you fucking paid for it anyway.
Right. No, it's a great show. It's entertaining, and it definitely shocked all three of us and how much we enjoyed it.
It's well done writing. Is really what it was. If you like good writing, give it a shot. Yep,
give it a shot. But quick before we go, Jason, what's your rating out of 5 stars? Just for the first episode right now. Well,
I'm with you, and I'm just gonna say a 5 out of 5. I got no gripes, besides like the cliche shit that we've discussed throughout the episode. But there's no reason to take a star away from that, because they're using, like Aaron said, no reason to say the word cliche in a negative way when they're fucking using it appropriately in the story format. So 5 out of 5.
For sure. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Jason on that. I don't have anything bad to say about this show.
Okay.
Like, especially this episode. Like, I got nothing bad for it.
I can't disagree. I'm right there with you. 5 stars, legit. Man. Like, this is... I went into this really, like, sudden, but without having really a lot to take from it. Like I said, man, the trailer did not do this show justice.
It gave you just enough to go, okay, well, now I kind of want to watch.
Yeah, it basically just showed you, hey, Martin Short, Steve Martin, and Selena Gomez are in a show together. Come watch this. And I was like, okay, I got 2 comedy legends I love. Let's give it a shot.
Gonna click on it. Yep.
It was clickbait. Definitely clickbait for me.
For sure.
But yeah, so that's a B&B Banter Bros 5-star all around. That's the first one.
Ooh.
So that one's a little special. So yeah, I mean, we'll get to the next episode, and we'll see how it goes from there. We'll see what we have to say then.
For sure.
So, but this has been Timothy Bennett here,
Aaron Banyan,
Jason Chandler,
and we will catch you next time. Thank you for listening.
Thanks.